President-elect Trump spoke to Thune on the phone yesterday and also congratulated him on Truth Social, saying he will do an outstanding job. Joining me now is Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. He's a member of the Senate Armed Forces, Environment, Public Works, Health, Labor, Education, Pensions, and Indian Affairs Committees. Senator, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on.
I know you were supporting Thune ahead of yesterday's vote. Tell us what you're expecting from him, what you'd like to see Thune accomplish.
Well, first of all, he said it outright, Maria, when he said that we've got a mandate from the American people to deliver the policies and the direction that President Trump wants to go. There was a misnomer out there, though. For some reason, the public was assuming that President Trump and Leader Thune didn't get along. That's absolutely not correct. They have been speaking on the phone for months now, and they were in a very, very good place. And President Trump and I had multiple conversations about all three of those running for leadership, and he was okay with two of the three that was running. But I'll tell you that the idea that there's any daylight between Leader Thune and President Trump is just not accurate. We have a mandate by the American people to deliver exactly what they wanted when they elected President Trump by an overwhelming majority of electoral votes and a popular vote. And we hear it loud and clear, and we look forward to working with President Trump in the White House.
What's going to be the easiest or toughest things to get through of the agenda? I mean, of course, we've been talking all about the nominees this morning. President-elect Trump officially nominating Florida Senator Marco Rubio to serve as Secretary of State, picking combat veteran Pete Hegseth to serve as his Secretary of Defense. Hegseth served tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. But Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren is pushing back. She's dismissing Hegseth, writing on X, a Fox and Friends weekend co-host is not qualified to be the Secretary of Defense, completely ignoring his military background. The Associated Press writes Trump's decision to nominate Hegseth was met with bewilderment and worry among many in Washington. Some are concerned he does not have the experience to run the department. So Senator Hegseth will appear before the Senate Armed Services Committee for confirmation. Are you planning to vote for him?
Absolutely. For Elizabeth Warren to say that someone's not qualified when she was claiming to be Cherokee for the majority of her life, which I am Cherokee, which is a direct insult, carries no weight with me. Here, Peter served for 20 years in the United States Army. He was a decorative combat veteran with 2 Bronze Stars, and he's a civilian. People forget that the Secretary of Defense is supposed to be a civilian. That's for a particular reason. So he knows how to carry a message. He knows how the military works, and he's truly a civilian. He's not a general that's just going to be looking over at other generals' shoulders. He's somebody that's going to go up there and actually look at things from another perspective, and the DOD needs to be looked at differently. They have a tremendous amount of bureaucracy. There's very little accountability underneath the Harris Biden administration, and I look forward to him coming in and talking to us. But I have, as of right now, I'm 100% for Peter getting nominated. Now, at the same time, he's got to come in front of the committee, and I think he'll do a great job.
That's a very good point that you make in terms of being a civilian to run the department. You're right. I hadn't heard that before, but you're absolutely right.
Well,
that's a great point.
And when President Trump and I spoke about this, Maria, he said, I don't want a general looking over generals.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need somebody that actually has been in the service, too, which is why Peter fits the bill perfectly.
So what are going to be the tougher things to get through? I know that there are certain things that President Trump can do without Congress, like extending the tax cuts through reconciliation or doing lots of deregulation, perhaps the deportation as well. But are there areas of the Trump agenda that you see as being, harder to get through and needing 60 votes? What are those?
Well, reconciliation is going to be tougher than you think because, remember, that got held up for 1.5 years last time. I think the first thing is going to be clearing the deck that Biden leaves behind, which if we don't have a full funding package and Chuck Schumer's not moving towards that, the first thing President Trump has to do before he can move forward with his agenda is take over the mess that Harris Biden left for him. That's going to be extremely difficult. The nomination process, I don't know how the Democrats are going to play with that yet. Keep in mind, we got a midterm election and everybody's already thinking towards a midterm, and there's a lot of states that President Trump won overwhelmingly that Democrat senators represent. So they're going to be more apt to work with us, I believe. But the nominations, I have a feeling they're going to fight us on quite a few of those just to kind of like throw down their gauntlet. When you start talking about President Trump's agenda, though, for the economy, those should move pretty easy. The reason why President Trump won overwhelmingly the popular vote and electoral vote was because people were fed up with our border and the economy.
Yeah.
So securing our border and the economy should be something that the Republicans and Democrats be able to work together with. But you never can tell, because Chuck Schumer is still leading the Democrats in the Senate, and so you never can tell what he's willing to do.
Yeah, sure. Senator, your name has been floated as a possible candidate to become the Secretary of the Interior or Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Are you pursuing that?
President Trump and I have not spoken about this at all. This was something that was broke at the early part of the week, and I can tell you, President Trump and I have had zero conversations about it at all.
Are you worried about Trump tapping into the Senate and the House and perhaps even making the majority smaller?
No, not at all. In the Senate, if he appoints people out of the Senate, I'm sure he's paying close attention to those that he brings out of the Senate that can be appointed quick by a Republican governor. In the House, he obviously he's paying attention to that, and he can take his time. You know, you got the top positions you got to fill immediately, and as these elections move forward and we replace one out of the House, he can bring another one out. So I think President Trump understands the way the Senate works and the way the House works better than any incoming president, because he's been there 4 years before and he knows exactly what he wants and what he needs to get done.
Yeah, Senator, it's great having you this morning. Thanks so much.